notification bell and never miss a video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. Hey guys, welcome back to MegInWhispers. In today's video, we're going to be kind of sipping this tea and just kind of talking and having a chat about how and why I became a therapeutic writing instructor. So first I'm going to go ahead and talk about this tea that I have. Now this tea is raspberry leaf tea. It's organic, and I drink it because it tastes very similar to black tea, except it doesn't have that bitterness to it. So it's really tasty to drink. I also put, of course, some honey in it to kind of just sweeten it up a little bit and give it a little bit of flavor. It does have a nice flavor on its own. It's a little bit, not fruity, but a bit fragrant. So I really like that. And you can get this really huge bag of this type of tea off Amazon. And this one bag of tea has lasted me like over a year. This one bag of tea. So I really like it. It is a loose leaf tea, and so when you make it, you have to put it into a little strainer, like a fine mesh tea strainer. Or I suppose you could also put it into tea bag as well, like a homemade tea bag. But I prefer the strainer because it's reusable. It doesn't even use up any paper or anything like that. So I really like that. Now this green mug that we see here, this thermos, this is, I believe, Ozark Trail is the brand. And you've probably heard me talk about this thermos in other videos as well, but it does an excellent job of keeping your drink really cold or really hot for hours. So I love this mug too. The other thing I like here is this little coaster. This little coaster is just literally a chunk of wood, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing too special about it. I don't really even know if it is finished or if it's unfinished. Suppose that it might have perhaps a very thin layer of finish on it, but I don't know, I can't really tell. This coaster actually came from a timber company called Great Country Timber Frames. Exceptionally built post and beam. So this is probably kind of just a piece of scrap wood that they turned into a coaster. But it's very effective because I love using this thing. So I keep this on my desk over in this corner pretty much all the time. I always hold my drinks. Now I am going to take a sip of this tea right here. It is still very hot. I made this tea probably 2 hours ago. I've been waiting to start making this video. And this tea is very hot still. So I really like that. The lid does a great job of keeping in the steam, keeping everything nice and warm. Now the other benefit of drinking raspberry leaf tea, for those of you who don't know, it's actually really beneficial to drink it during your period. And that's where I'm at right now. And it's great because it really reduces cramping and the heaviness and the duration of your flow, as well as excessive spotting. So I really like it for that purpose as well. And I'll usually drink quite a few mugs of this throughout the days of my period, and it really helps. I've been doing that for many cycles now, and I've even tried cycles where I skip it to see if there's a difference, and indeed there is. So now I just stick with it, and I don't skip it, because I know that it works. Okay, so I've explained about the tea, explained about my beautiful coaster here. Now let's get into the real reason of the video. How and why I became a therapeutic riding instructor. So there's a few things that go into that. First, let's talk about what a therapeutic riding instructor is. So a therapeutic riding instructor is someone who instructs riders during sessions that are equine assisted. Equine is another word for horse, but it also includes other animals as well, like donkeys, mules, ponies, and things like that. So that's what an equine is. Now, equine assisted activities are things like horseback riding, grooming, groundwork, carriage driving, things like that. Now, in order to carriage drive, that would actually be a separate certification, which I do not have because I do not know much about carriage driving. It's a whole different discipline within the world of horses. And therapeutic riding instruction is also a whole other discipline within the horse world, aside from other things like showing, jumping, eventing, endurance riding, dressage, racing, things like that, rodeoing, different activities like that. So with therapeutic riding, the person doing the riding is typically someone with some type of challenge or disability, whether that is physical, developmental, cognitive, emotional, or mental. So typically, people living with things like autism or Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, bipolar disorder, developmental delays, learning challenges, things like that. So the center that I work at, it's ages 4 and up, and there's no upper age limit. But it does have to be safe, and it has to be a safe environment. And so it is really important that each individual does meet certain safety requirements in terms of their balance and strength and coordination, because it's not safe for someone who is not able to keep their balance to ride in a horse, because that horse could move unexpectedly, they could become off balance and then fall off, which would not be safe. So usually, depending on the rider and their skill level and what they're working on, usually a lesson will go like this. You'll have the horse and the rider. You'll have a leader who's leading the horse, and the leader is actually in charge of things like steering, stopping, going, things like that, at the discretion of the instructor. And then next to the rider, you have 2 side walkers. And they walk alongside the rider, and they provide extra physical support or emotional support as needed. The leader and the side walkers are volunteers. And the instructor is the person who kind of conducts the whole lesson. So the instructor may teach 1 rider, 2 riders, 3 riders. Depending on the arena size, maybe even 4 riders. In my lessons, I usually teach one-on-one, and I like that format because I think that it really gives the instructor and the rider more time to really focus on the rider's needs and goals. And so I think that's a really great format. But I also like having my riders interact with other riders at the same time as well. So in a lesson, you may have 2 or 3 separate private lessons going on in the same arena, and then halfway through, everyone might decide to go out on a trail ride. And so we have that time where, you're dedicating 15 minutes or so to that specific rider and their warm-ups and their exercises that they really need, and the routine that they may need. And then everyone gets to go out on a trail ride together, which is a good team building and just fun and relaxing activity. Now, therapeutic riding is not technically a therapy per se, but it is therapeutic in nature. It's a recreational activity that is adaptive for people with various challenges and disabilities. So it can be really great for a lot of different people. The benefits are huge for a lot of people. They can include things like increased coordination, strength, endurance, social skills, increased confidence, decreased anxiety, decreased stress. And it's also just great to spend some time with this big animal in a really unique, accepting, warm environment where everyone is there to support you and just be friendly and treat you like another person. Because that's really what it's all about. Just finding that acceptance and working with others to really meet and even exceed your goals. So that's a little bit about what therapeutic riding is. So now I'll share with you kind of how I got into it and why. So when I was going to college at UConn, I was going to classes and going to school for the Human Development and Family Studies degree. And I really, really enjoyed those classes because the whole field just really clicked with me. And I liked the idea of just helping people. And I just found the field so interesting. I really enjoyed my classes so much. And I also was participating in equine activities at college as well, because UConn does have horses on campus and they have their own riding program. And I had actually participated in their riding program even before I was at UConn as a student, because they offered summer riding programs throughout the years. And so I was very familiar with the horses, with the instructors there, and so I was taking classes there. And one semester I was actually taking a trail riding class, and I was talking with the trail riding instructor about how, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do after school and after I had graduated. And I believe this was around the beginning of junior year. And so at that time she shared with me, and we were actually on a trail ride at the time, so you're kind of just talking about it. It's very informal. But she shared with me that I should look into therapeutic horseback riding and becoming an instructor. And I had never heard about that before, and so this was the first time I was ever hearing about it. And she told me about a nearby program that was looking for volunteers. And so I contacted the program. I began to volunteer, to make a long story short. And I realized that therapeutic riding was a good mix of my skills with horses and my skills from my degree, Human Development and Family Studies. And it just felt like a great meshing of those two areas into something that was fun, collaborative, really focused on teamwork, and was working with horses in a really positive way. And so I volunteered at that center that was nearby for a year. And then I moved forward from that, and I applied for a program after I had graduated to become an instructor and get that certification. And that was at a place called High Hopes in Connecticut, where I live. And that was an intensive program for about 3 or 4 months, where you were going down to their center every weekday, taking classes and working in classes to practice being an instructor. So I participated in that intensive program, and it was pretty tough because it was an hour away from where I lived. So even though it was still in Connecticut, it was still quite a drive. And so each day, I would have to get up quite early and I would get home quite late. But I did the course, and it was very rewarding, very intensive, but also I learned a lot. And it was just really incredible to have that experience. It was a really great experience. And I recommend anyone who does live in Connecticut or the area of New England, or even just the East Coast, people travel a long ways to go to that program. And I'm not sure what the current offering is, but at the time they even offered housing for people who lived out of state. And so that was great. That was a great, accommodation to offer people. And so anyway, I participated in the program, and I got my certification. And then I actually began working there at that same place a few months later. And I stayed there for a couple months, but then I had found another job that was closer to home. And so I transitioned from there to the job that was closer to my home. And that's where I still work now. And so at that new job, I was instructing, and I eventually became volunteer coordinator. And that was, again, a big experience, lots of growth happening with that. And it was just great, you know, interacting with all those volunteers and being able to work so closely with them. So it was a really, really great experience that taught me a lot. And then, just a few months ago, in December of 2017, I transitioned out of that volunteer coordinator role, and now here I am. I am solely an instructor, 1 day a week. And so I go in to instruct 1 day a week. I work with the same riders each week, and it's great. I really, really love working with my riders and being able to observe their progress as they get stronger and they build new skills, and you know, they just become more confident in their skills. It's a really, really great thing to witness. And if you have a therapeutic riding center in your area, I would highly suggest to check it out and see if you could volunteer, because it's such a fun way to get outside, get exercise, interact with horses and other volunteers and the riders. And you can become a sidewalker even if you don't have any previous horse experience. Many centers will simply offer training to teach you how to sidewalk, and that's a great place to start as part of the team. It's a great way to get that interaction with the rider and the horse without actually needing those horsemanship skills as a prerequisite. So a lot of centers do that, and it's just a great opportunity, whether you're in high school or whether you are retired or you just want to give back to your community. Many people of all ages and stages volunteer at these centers, and it's just a really, really great experience. So yeah, that's pretty much my story. And feel free to leave your questions and comments down there below the video, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have as best I can. But I do just want to say thanks to the person who requested this video. This video was made because of a request on the weekly polls that I put out. And so each Monday, that is Viewer's Choice Day, and each Monday I put out a new poll with 3 options for next Monday's video. And then people can go vote on the poll, and that's exactly what happened. I put this topic on the poll, and I will show you guys the percentage of people who voted right there, so you can really see the breakdown of those who voted. So if you want to vote on next Monday's poll, and if you want to have a say in which video you see, please go ahead and check out the link for next Monday's poll. It'll be in the video description down below. Just go ahead and click to see more, and you'll find that link. And you can also submit your requests for future videos on that poll as well. I include the 3 options, and then I include another line where you can submit your request. I do just want to say, because I'm not sure if this is happening or not, but I do just want to say, be sure to only vote one time, please, because I have been noticing that sometimes I will get the same answer, like 15 times in a row, and they're all time-stamped, like within a few seconds of each other. So if you're voting, please just be honest. I do appreciate you guys taking the time to go check out that poll. And I just want to say, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And please go ahead and explore my other videos, because I make tons of videos about all these different topics. I rarely make the same topic twice, but I will if it's requested enough. And so please go check out my other videos and see what you like. You can also check out my Instagram as well at MegInWhispers. On my Instagram, I post a lot of behind the scenes content, and I post Instagram stories that show more behind the scenes that don't even make it to my actual posts. So please go check it out if you're interested in seeing a little bit more detail about how I make my videos, or how Bosco and Osage and Kaba are doing. Those are my pet dogs and a cat. And it's just a really great way to have a sense of community with my subscribers. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and you learned a little bit more about therapeutic riding that you may not have known before. It's a really incredible industry that is really in its beginning stages, and it's still growing, still adapting. I do just want to mention before we go that the organization that I certified with is called PATH International. That stands for the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship International. And so just to give a bit more clarification, that is where I certified. I hope you guys have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video.